What's up, boys? We're back with some more Tower of Babel, and Brawler is my new favorite character. He has a very fast basic attack, so he has tons of synergy with legendaries that trigger on that. So we've got the belt that triggers fire skills when you crit with basic or special attacks. We've got the weapon... Wait, no, we have the necklace that has a 15% chance to trigger any skill on a basic attack. And that's kind of the basis for the build. We just trigger a ton of skills, and then fire skills especially will heal me for a bunch as well with that. And then we've got Purge to trigger as well on that. And then I think I have a damage boost for that somewhere. Yeah, right there, 200% damage to elite enemies. So Purge is one of the best single target skills in the game by default, and with those two, nothing else even comes remotely close to it. Then we've got some nice survivability and a bit more skill triggers there, and then extra evasion to help that out. Some damage and status effect stuff there, bit of extra crit chance whenever we use the special attack. And I also really like the special attack. Currently I'm just farming floor 9 to get this guy's meta progression up a bit, since it doesn't really transfer over between characters a whole lot. You can get a bit of gold and some items, but you have to redo the entire blessing tree, so that's a bit of a pain, and we're just trying to get ready for the next tower floors now. Use the special attack every once in a while for some extra crits. But we need to get a good skill to really start nuking stuff down with all of the legendaries we have focused on triggering that. We could probably take the early XP here to get some more levels. And yeah, the iframes on its dash are super nice. Okay, so these are actually both pretty good. We can ban special attack, that's not super useful. And I think we'll bless this because at certain breakpoints there's a ton of useful stats on this here. Range, projectile count, attack speed are all very good, and I think you can also get crit chance at some levels on that. Not 100% sure on that, but there's a lot of very good stats. Especially 50% projectile count is pretty insane. And then also there's the chance for the perfect punch thing, which seems to just be a very large fist, so you can hit even more enemies with that. Wow, okay. Funny part is Phoenix is one of the best skills we can get here, but I definitely want that since all of the effects trigger when we're attacking. Blizzard's not bad, so is Swamp of the Dead. They both add some decent crowd control. Let's go ahead and grab that because we can really add in any of the freezing effects for the chill. And then that's the only other skill that has like a unique slowing effect, I think. Piercing. That works with some of the skills. I'm not sure how good it'll be. It doesn't work on Purge. It does work on Phoenix, which is one of the main skills I'm going for. I guess we'll try it. It's pretty helpful with several of the cold skills as well. Okay, crit chance is also very important since the belt is reliant on that. Ooh, Meteor Strike, that's a good one. So there's actually two fire skills that aren't very good, the Fire Orb and the Dragon's Breath. Crit damage is pretty good, we can probably banish movement. There's eventually so many enemies that you can't really move around between them anyways. And then Blood Whirlwind and Blizzard are both decent. Let's go ahead and take the Blizzard, I think. Meteor will do a ton of healing, and we'll try and find the Phoenix, which will also do a ton of healing with all of the resets on that. How many skills do I have? Looks like we're at 3, so 3 more. And I'd really like to have both Phoenix and Purge in there. Okay, these are both very good. I think we'll bless projectile counts. And then I think if they're within one level, we probably take projectile counts, because you have sort of an exponential scaling on that. It increases the number of basic attacks, which will then trigger more of your skills, which will then have even more from that as well. Lightning Strike, oh yeah, that one's pretty good as well. That's a tough one, I want both of those. I think we'll take the 4 levels. So Lightning Strike is a critical hit that actually stuns enemies as well in an area, so that's pretty nice. I got Blizzard for chilling already, so we can wait a bit on that. Try to get the Phoenix and Purge. Nope. We'll take the 2 basic attack levels. Lightning strike level to pass that. Projectile counts, yep. Crit chance also has sort of the same effects with fire spells, where we'll trigger them more often. Ooh, purge, very nice, okay. Let's go ahead and grab that. It triggers the spells more, and then the spells themselves will also have more crit chance. But it's a little bit worse because projectile count also increases the healing you can get. Both of those are actually pretty good as well. Let's grab some more evasion chance. Survivability and damage at the same time with the reduction on the ring. And then cast speed is actually not bad because some of the legendary effects will do like a flat reduction. So if you get the total cooldown lower, then that sort of becomes more effective. I think it's just those 2 that are decent with it. Of course, the spells themselves will naturally just cast more with cast speed. And then Purge will focus on the elites, and it has that 3 times damage multiplier off the legendary. It just absolutely melts them once you get a few outs. And then we'd like to get Phoenix for the final spell for a lot more healing. Phoenix, there we go. Pretty nice setup of all 6 spells, I think. And we'll probably scale up the basic attack here to trigger our other spells more often. Make it easier to hit with that since you can also get some range at certain levels. I think we'll grab some more early XP. And we really need a option to turn off damage numbers. They get so silly once you scale up a bit. Let's go with some attack area here, make it easier to land lots of hits. Nice double projectile counts. And you can see I don't really even need to basic attack the elites a whole lot if the purges are sitting on top of them like that. Let's go with probably Phoenix for more healing and damage at the same time. Grab a bit of magic item find. The main thing we're trying to do here is to farm up a bit and get the meta progression ready for the next floors anyways. Projectile counts. Double Phoenix, sure. Let's go Meteor here, I think. Yeah, the legendaries make an absolutely gargantuan difference in how strong you can be. I feel like they could use a system similar to Diablo 4, since it's already pretty Diablo inspired anyways, where you can at least transfer some of the affixes or craft them onto some other items. Let's go with Purge here. The chest I have is actually super old, I think. That's from like one of the very first floors, but the fire skill healing effect is just so good. I've tried to replace this with a higher level chest that also has good survivability. I think it's like 15% evade chance, and then every time you evade, you heal a percentage of your max life. And with all the other evasion stuff I have, you would think that would be insane, but it just can't even compare to this low level fire healing chest because of how many different skills we can trigger. Double cast speed, we can definitely work with that. And pretty soon we basically won't be able to see anything on the screen at all with all the spell effects and damage numbers going everywhere. But hopefully we'll be strong enough for that. So duration's actually quite good for Purge and Meteor. And that'll really supercharge our single target damage and healing. Double life regen, I'm fine grabbing a bit of that. It's pretty helpful on the boss fights where there aren't that many targets and you have to constantly keep moving, and it's actually kind of difficult to stay in melee range because she has kind of a bullet hell effect around herself that actually deals massive damage if it directly hits you. So basic attack, Purge. Let's pump up the Purge, I think. Take some more Phoenix. Double basic attack, yep. I think we'll take basic attack here, range is pretty nice. I really like the hybridy, like Spellblade type of build we can do where we can scale up the basic attack to trigger the other stuff more often as well. Felt kind of bad when I was doing the wizard and a lot of the skill level ups are basically useless to me. We'll take some Purge here. You know, if they really wanted to be like Diablo 3, these wasps would actually shoot out baby wasps, and then those would just one-shot you if they hit you. Like good old Inferno. So I guess we'll take the triple XP since we're still fairly early into the run. Oh yeah, I need to identify that item. I always forget to do that in the middle of the run. chance will be pretty good there. Oh, up to 30% damage based on mana. I think that might actually be better because the one I have is fairly situational. So let's go ahead and try that out. It'll definitely be better for the boss fight at the end. Might be a little bit worse in situations where there's a huge horde of enemies built up in the middle and we can just dash around the outside and get full value out of the crit chance, but I think this one will be more consistent. Although I guess we will lose a little bit of damage whenever I need to dash for the survivability now. Yeah, like with all the slimes here, the crit chance one would actually be very good. You can just dash into position and get full value out of the crit chance into a huge horde of pretty tanky enemies, but I think it's still pretty good. Let's go with crit chance, I think. Trigger fire spells more often and just a very good damage stat overall since you get 30% crit damage per level in that one. On swamp, that's fine. Basic attack or duration. Ooh, 50% projectiles. And now we're starting to lag. Basic attack? Absolutely. 25% projectile count, sure. Two on swamp, that's fine. Is that you summon so many different spell effects that it can be very hard to see where the detonators are here. And even with decent survivability, they can easily like 2, maybe 3-shot you sometimes, so you can mess yourself up with that, and evasion's actually pretty helpful. Here, attack power is decent. Honestly, let's use some rerolls, see if we can find some bigger level ups. Oh well, was worth a try. Go a bit of cast speed here. Attack speed. Projectile counts. And this is with the maximum transparency, right? 3 is the highest, so that should be the most transparent. Yeah, that is much worse. So we can't actually improve that any in the current game. Double lightning strike or blizzards. Let's go with that. Yeah, I can't really see anything now. But that's why evasion plus lots of healing is very helpful. Crit chance. Triple cast speed, yep. Purge to maximize our single dart damage for the boss coming up soon. So some of the enemies actually seem to put a curse on you now, and it does massive damage when it triggers, but you actually can evade the damage for it, which happens pretty often when you have a bunch of evade legendaries. 2 meteor strike, yep. Now we have to try and focus down all the detonators, but they're very hard to see with the sheer number of spell effects going everywhere. Purge from the boss here. Crit chance. Crit damage. Yeah, we have some pretty good chance to go with that. Probably Phoenix here. None of these are super helpful, we'll just take the swamp level. Purge. I'm not sure which helps the most with the boss here. Probably the lightning strike. She summons a bunch of detonators, so more stuns on those will buy you a little bit of extra time. And then I guess we'll take the item binds, maybe get an extra legendary off of her. Should be strong enough to melt her pretty quickly since we got some pretty nice rolls on like attack speed and the spells and all. But the bullet hell things do a ton of damage if they directly hit you. so it is a bit annoying for a kind of melee build. Just one legendary, oh well. So yeah, Phoenix and Meteor are fantastic AoE healing. Purge just melts the bosses for you. Some extra crowd control. That's typically what I go for, 2 fire skills, Purge, and then some extra crowd control stuff. And then once you're strong enough to fit in some item finds, you get a pretty nice legendary haul each time. And some of those can be pretty impactful. That's the one we started with. Ball lightning in a straight line, that doesn't sound very helpful. Chain lightning splitting into 2 is kind of cool, but my boots are pretty good for survivability. And then another chain lightning to go with that. Let's see, any super good rares that I want here? I think so. So yeah, just getting the meta progression up a bit. We get a decent haul every time with some extra farming stuff selected in the run. Let's go double attack power here, we can ban that. Then we can probably ban mana as well. And bless basic attack. Wait, what? Why did... What happened there? I blessed it and it selected it instantly? And we'll also bless the projectile counts, and I think we'll go ahead and grab that here. We can grab lightning strike here. I don't really have anything for spinning blade. Although it is pretty good if you have the physical version of the chest that heals you with those. Grab the crit chance here. Double crit damage, and then we'll bless that again. Take a basic attack here. Triple pickup. It's not a very good stat, and Meteor Strike is one of the best skills in the game, so I think I'm just going to take that if they're close enough. It's one of the best skills with the fire healing legendary effects. Take the lightning strike to pass here. Double projectile count, yep. I don't think I really have anything for these. Blizzard for some chilling. Purge at level 2, nice. I guess we'll take the level here. Whirlwind is fine. Double crit damage. Double basic attack. Oh yeah, I think Brawler has the best main stat as well. You get extra crit chance and evasion for dexterity. And I've already shown you how good those stats are with certain legendaries. Take the purge level here. Versus the wizard who I was playing just gets a little bit of mana regen and all resistances. Crit chance, yep. Triple on the lightning strike. Double purge. Projectile counts. Lightning Wave is just not very good, so basic attack it is. Corpse Explosion is also generally pretty underwhelming. I guess we could try it here with the extra procs from that one thing I have. The necklace that I got pretty recently, maybe it'll be decent when we're also scaling up the projectile count on it. Probably not though, I'll take the 2 levels there just to see. There's a lot of skills currently that seem like they need extra legendary effects to make them decent, and that might be one of them. We'll take the early gold gain to get a little bit of extra meta progression here. Since we are farming after all. Let's get some cast speed here. cast speed, that's fine. Double purge, yep. Meteor strike. Triple basic attack? Absolutely. Projectile count or evasion. Double corpse explosion. I feel like that's probably just better. Double projectile counts. Okay, that could be a bit more generically useful. All hits, I think? So that actually should just be a better version. But I think I'm just going to finish this run out with a fire one, and then I'll do some test runs with that and see if it's any good later on. Don't want to mess up this one in the middle of it. I guess you can just freely swap between them, right? No, you can actually only equip them during the level up screen, it looks like. Okay, so we might actually be able to mess up the run then. So yeah, we'll wait and do some testing on that a bit later then. Double basic attack. Yeah, it'd be nice if I wasn't so tied to fire skills, since Purge is obviously insane as a light skill. Dark has some really good skills with Grasp and Blood Tornado, and then Physical also has some pretty good skills. I think the daggers and the spinning blades can do a lot of hits per second as well. Foreign corpse explosion. I guess we'll try it. Honestly, let's grab some curse, farm some more enemies. Quadruple evade, yup. So corpse explosion should at least be decent with this many enemies, right? They're all perfectly grouped up for it too. 50% projectile counts pretty big on that level up. Triple range, that's pretty nice to have. We could toss some rerolls. Triple lightning strike or double crit. I think that's better because of the fire belt that goes with it. Being a really strong damage stat on top of that. Double basic attack, double crit. I think we'll take that again. Uh-oh, an elite detonator. We have to stay very far away from him. But at least the purges will kind of wreck them from long range if we can get a bunch of those up. triple XP. I guess we'll take it. Do I go more curse? YOLO. Let's see if we can get a double level up or something. Triple on Meteor Strike is very nice. Double basic attack. I'll take a regular basic attack here. Let's go a bit more range. Projectile count, yep. Triple range or crit damage? I think that'll help more with the boss that we're getting close to here. We just want to maximize the damage of all the purges on top of him. And we have a ton of crit chance on this run as well. Meteor. So we need to look out for the detonators, but I can't really see anything here. I guess corpse explosion it is. Basic attack, yup. Projectile counts. Definitely too late for that crit damage it is. Basic attack, a little bit of attack speed. Purge to help out with the boss here in a moment. Triple lightning strike. Yeah, look at that purge damage. And another one. And 2 legendaries to boot. $3.6 million on the meteors, 1.9 on the purge, but it's not the greatest for AoE. It's not terrible with the legendaries at least. 1.6 on the corpse explosion, that's the best I've seen for that yet. If we could get some legendaries for that, there might be some potential there. Honestly, not terrible, but we did get some very efficient level ups for it. So hits have a 3% chance to restore 1% life. So it sounds like the same as the one I currently have, but lower chance, but for everything, so that should just be a straight up upgrade, I believe. Makes it easier to build as well. 30% dark skill critical hits on enemies below 50%. So it sounds like if they're below 50%, then your critical chance will also increase your critical damage, I think? Or it's just worded in a very weird way. Magic Hammer spirals out like a whirlwind. Okay, so that turns it into actual Blessed Hammer. I lose armor. I guess that could work. Cold skill critical hit chance. That's pretty good. I don't think I'm going to replace the Purge thing. Purge is just so good for killing bosses and single targets. But yeah, the SPELLFIST Brawler build is really fun so far. The game is pretty grindy, but I've been enjoying building stuff around the legendaries that I've been getting, and I'm really liking this build so far. But that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.